I've recently noticed that I'm not totally satisfied with my life. And a few days ago now, I woke up very early and it hit me. Something's been missing. Two things, in fact: treasures and riches. And as luck would have it, I've recently been reading a book about English folklore, and I've discovered a site nearby which is said to be home to some as yet undiscovered treasures, which can be obtained by following a set of pretty strange instructions. So we're about to hike over there right now. I'm going to follow this unusual ritual, and hopefully I'm going to be heading home today with my newfound wealth. So come along with me and let's go and give it a go. Now we are back in North Yorkshire today, making our way towards a place called Middleham. It's a very brisk morning, 0 degrees currently. I think there's going to be a high of 3 degrees Celsius later on today, so it's a chilly one. And I feel like we've been in North Yorkshire on this channel quite a lot recently. To be honest, just totally by chance. I don't even live here. I live fairly far from here. There just happens to be a lot of interesting things around, but we will be travelling further afield to new pastures in the very near future, I promise. Now today's story is all about folklore. But what is folklore? We've come across it a few times in the past on this channel. I've scrambled through rocky outcrops in the hills of Bronte country, still waiting to see if that one comes true or not. And the term folklore, the word itself, was coined back in 1846. And in simple terms, it was an attempt to record and categorise the beliefs of the folk at the time. Now in the books I've read about this, the folk that the term refers to are described as an uneducated rural class. And one of the reasons that people started wanting to document these beliefs and practices was because they believed that they were going to be starting to fade out as technology developed throughout the years, education became more widespread and accessible, and there was a worry that they would just disappear. So people started cataloguing them. This practice does go back further under the label of social antiquities, and it is kind of connected to a few other practices as well, social history, for example. Now these days in 2025, this group of people, the so-called folk, don't really exist in the same way. It's a group of people I feel like I probably would have belonged to if I was born back then. But that's not to say that folklore doesn't still exist in a more modern version. Some things that I've seen thrown under the umbrella of contemporary folklore, things like UFO sightings, urban legends and conspiracy theories. But today we're interested more in the folklore of years gone by. Now Middleham, where we're heading to, is home to a place called William's Hill, sometimes referred to as William's Hills. So I'm not sure whether to expect one or two. I'm kind of hoping there's just a singular hill there, and you'll see why before long. And William's Hill is an old motte-and-bailey, essentially an old kind of a castle, back from the Norman times, believed to have been constructed a bit over 900 years ago. Essentially there's a hill there, a mound of earth that would have had a keep on top, the motte, and then the bailey at the bottom of the hill, a small enclosed set of buildings, barracks for example, sometimes surrounded by water or a wall, something like that. These days, there isn't much there, or is there? Now Old English folklore comes in all kind of shapes and sizes, different forms, categories if you like. Many stories involving witches, beasts, otherworldly beings. Then we've got things like the natural elements, water for example, and a couple of categories in particular that are particularly popular. The first one is hidden, secret underground tunnels. Now this one's quite easy to understand why it's so prevalent and popular. It's a really exciting idea, this notion that not anywhere, but in many places pretty much, there might be some hidden tunnels underneath us. And let's not forget that folklore was the documentation, the recording of real beliefs and practices. And so whilst a lot of modern retellings do have very suspicious and fantastical elements, they typically come from something very genuine. They weren't written originally for entertainment purposes. And it's the same with hidden tunnels because they're a very real thing. Historically, secret tunnels were sometimes built to avoid border crossings and avoid paying customs fees. Some of them were built to potentially sneak important people out of besieged castles. So the idea itself is in no way far-fetched, it's very much real. And the idea of them being out there is kind of exciting. Now, as is the case with a lot of folklore tales, over time they get a little bit or a lot embellished. Details added that make them sound a lot more incredible than they maybe where they were originally. One of the more, I guess you could say, spiritual elements often attached to these stories of hidden tunnels are that they're protected by any kind of being you could imagine, really. Sometimes animals, beasts, spirits and ghosts. Many of these tunnels also said to house treasure, hidden treasures. And this is where things start to get a bit more interesting for us today. Now, hidden treasure, just like these secret tunnels, very much a real thing. Today there are, of course, a lot of stories that will seem to us very far-fetched, but they have real, legitimate origins. Going back in time once again, burial mounds, often home to buried valuable items. We've then got other instances before proper banking systems, for example, when people would bury valuable items to keep them safe. At other times, during periods of Roman occupation, for example, here in England, people would be burying valuable items for a similar reason. And for one of many possible reasons, oftentimes, they never returned to claim them. So long lost buried treasure, real. I think we are roughly heading up there. I bumped into someone a minute ago when I was about to start filming, and they said to look out for some stepping stones and then turn up to the right. So let's just have a quick look a bit further down here. Also, if there are some stepping stones, we have to cross them. It's the law. Oh, okay, I guess that was the way. Now, over time, these stories, rumours about buried treasure, started to spread. And as you can imagine, even today, it's quite a gripping prospect. The idea that we could just discover something that had been hidden for a long time that would give us all the wealth we could ever need. But from the sounds of it, it became a bit of an issue, actually, a bit of a problem. I've come across records from a number of incidents in the 1500s whereby people were tearing down crosses, boundary stones, hunting for buried treasure, and in some cases, finding it. I've never seen that before. Camino... Oh, is that Spanish? Hey? Camino Inglés to Santiago. Anyway, I think we're going to follow this one. Going uphill, apparently. Another unique crossing. Wooden door with a spring and some twine or whatever that is. Yeah, so some families found treasure. It's kind of hard to pinpoint the accuracy of some of these tales, but it seems to be legit. So I even came across a certain slur that emerged to describe or label families who had seemingly risen to wealth in a remarkably short space of time. So you can imagine some family from down the road suddenly seems to be quite wealthy and rich. Rumours start going around the village about how they acquired this wealth, and everybody starts calling them hill diggers. A bit of snow up on the top. Now, I'm not going to start slagging off these families because I'm quite literally very far away from home, walking to a hill right now, hoping to acquire some treasure myself. So, you know, they were probably decent people, just trying to get a step up in life. For a second, not living in a place as rural as this, I thought I heard fireworks. Birds started flying around. But now that I think about it, probably just shooting. It was in both directions, over here and somewhere over towards that woodland as well. The sheep are not looking too worried though. Now pretty soon I think we will be kind of coming over the brow of this hill, and in the near distance we should see Middleham, and just next to it, hopefully, Williams Hill. So I guess I should tell you exactly why I've picked Williams Hill for my treasure hunt? Well, in this book about English folklore I've been reading, I've found what appears to be a little known folk tale about some, so far, unyet claimed treasure at William's Hill. But you may have noticed there's no shovel attached to my backpack, because we're not going to be digging today. This story's a little bit different. There are some very specific steps I'm going to need to follow in order to obtain this treasure, and it's going to involve some running. Now let me read you the exact quote. It says, "Whoever shall run 9 times round without stopping shall find a door open in the mound which will admit him to marvellous treasure." Now you see how I'm hoping there's just one mound / hill and not two. But it is singular in the instructions, and the number 9 not being arbitrary there. It's a number quite often associated with contacting, let's call it the other side. Spirit, spiritualism, that sort of thing. It may sound familiar to you from, any number of things. I'm thinking particularly the 9 circles of hell. And in this instance, it's said that they're running 9 times around the mound, kind of acting as a way of unscrewing that connection to this other side. And that's what's going to allow us to gain access to these treasures. So I suppose it's high risk. We're establishing a connection with another world. Who knows what we're going to unleash? High effort, 9 times around without stopping. Sounds like it could be a lot. I'm going to give it my best shot though, but high reward. So we've got to try it. And I'm hoping we might be able to even see it from the top of this hill. Hey? It must be over the brow of the next hill. Let's pretend that didn't happen. And I'm hoping we might be able to see it over the brow of this hill. Here we go. I'm fairly certain that's it. I was expecting a taller hill, a taller mound. I'll double check the map in a moment, but I'm pretty confident that is William's Hill. It's weird because that used to be kind of a castle. That thing over there looks like a bit like a proper castle, doesn't it? Pretty sure that that's just local Weatherspoons though. No, I am of course just joking. That is Middleham Castle. But we are going to William's Hill. And for anybody wondering, did I drive all this way to walk past the castle to a now empty hill? Yeah, that's exactly what I've done. Possibly lost a lot of viewers and subscribers just then. I'm partially joking, that is why we're here. But unfortunately, at the moment, Middleham Castle is closed to the public until May of 2026. So we may as well come back another time when we can get a proper look at the whole place. I wonder if this was an old boundary stone a long time ago. Okay, this is us. I'm wondering how I'm going to run around it. What are the logistics going to be? Okay, here we go. William's Hill. So this is the main mound here in the middle, where the motte would have been. Let's head to the top and then form a plan. Oh, it's got like a little ditch around it and some rabbits. and quite a lot of litter. I'll have a go at sorting that out before I go. Okay, so I guess this is our running track. Let's just check it goes all the way around. I'm going to be exhausted. 9 times around this. This rabbit territory here. Hopefully not the monsters protecting the treasure. Oh god, there's loads of litter. I think that's beyond my litter abilities today. Might be able to get a few though. This is going to be an absolute mission. I mean, it's not supposed to be easy. We're talking about treasure. Let's quickly have a look at the top and then we'll get to it. The peak of William's Hill. So Middleham Castle in the background and then a bit of a ditch in the middle at the top of the hill where I suppose the keep would have been over 900 years ago. So this is the base in the top of the hill and it's clearly a popular party spot. Someone's been having a bottle of wine, a bit of cider. There is unfortunately too much litter here for me to be able to get all of it. It needs a proper job. And I presume this would have been the way in to the keep because the rest is all surrounded by this mounds of earth. And I'm really trying to delay my 9 laps here, but I don't think I can put it off any longer. And I've just spotted down here, in a key part of the racetrack, there is a huge kind of semi-frozen bog. Is it thick enough to run on? No, I don't think so. All right, I'm actually really warm having walked up those hills, so I'm just trying to decide whether to take the camera or just to plant it here, which is going to be least annoying as a viewer. I don't know. So, but let's just go, and I'm going to hold the microphone away from myself so you don't have to hear me breathing non-stop. Okay, let's get that treasure. That's weird. It's already difficult to run continuously because there's quite a lot of stuff around. And it's quite wet in the base. Okay, that's half a lap. I don't know if I can do 9 of these. I don't know. Let's go up. Around the bog. Oh no, I'm trapped. Oh, that's a fail. I didn't know it went all the way around here. Well, I've stopped now, so I've lost my continuous streak. I've also not done much running recently. So confidence levels for the full 9 laps, not as high as they could be. You have to go up this hill. And then where? Up here. No way. 9 laps of that? Are you joking? Do you know what? I'm embarrassed and disappointed. I didn't even get 1 lap. I could have done more without the bog. But that one poor attempt is enough to tell me I can't do 9 of those continuously. I'm genuinely disappointed. Maybe this is why nobody else has taken the treasure so far. There is good news. I do have a plan B. which I'll show you in a second. And I guess there's a few options now. Either I come back again when it's dry and get training. I'm not against it, because it's not going to be a long distance. It's just that huge detour. Or somebody watching is thinking, I could do that, easy. In which case, this is your invitation. Get yourself over to Williams Hill and run the 9 circles. Okay, let me get wrapped up again and I'll show you what plan B is. I'm not sure I can ever show my face on YouTube again after that. This might be the last you ever see of me. Anyway, plan B. I did think there was a chance that we might not find some treasure today. Although I'll totally own up to my classic overconfidence here. I thought the 9 laps might be a struggle. I'm not much of a runner. I thought I'd get maybe 5, 6 though. Oh well. Anyway, I brought some backup treasure. A gift for one viewer of this video to come and find. I am going to show you where I hide it, so you don't have to run around the hill 9 times before you collect it. But I would recommend it, why not? I just need to find somewhere nobody else is going to see it. There's got to be some kind of hidden away tree branch or dark corner or something. The tricky one. That looks like it's been there for quite a long time to me, so I think that's a safe location. Let me just show you it from another angle, and then I'll give you the what 3 words address as well. So this is the path leading away from the keep at the peak of the hill. So if you're facing down here, you'll see the visible path curve to the left, and then this tree on your right, and it's that huge stone right in the middle. It is in a weatherproof wrap, so it's going to survive for a long time. And the exact location, I think I've got signal. Yeah, that looks about right. So reject defected flooding. If you pop that into what 3 words, it should bring you to this exact square. I should say we are sort of on the fringes of a public right-of-way. There is a right-of-way that leads from the gate we entered through directly, on the map at least, straight to the top of the hill. So we are on private land, but legally, and of course we're being careful, considerate, following the countryside code. It's a shame that there is a lot of rubbish here. Maybe I need to start bringing a bigger bag, bigger rubbish bag next time. I'll have a think about that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. Sorry about that disappointment. Barely 1 lap. I can't believe it. Hopefully you've enjoyed the story though. And of course, if you do find the book, please let us know in the comments, and I can pin the comment or I'll let everybody else know. There are a few Northern Introvert stickers in there, as well as a handwritten note. Let us know in the comments if you know of any similar stories, or if you've found treasure yourself. Are you a hill digger? I tried to be. Didn't even make the cut for that. But there's still time. There's always the next treasure hunt. Next time we're here, we'll probably be exploring Middleham Castle. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Big thank you for supporting the channel, making all these trips possible. Huge thank you to all the monthly members on YouTube as well. And fingers crossed, I'll see you all next time.